Hey everybody! Today I bring you tales from the front desk of hotels, to be specific. We've got a Karen who knows everything about showers. She doesn't. A platinum hotel member who thinks he's supposed to get whatever he wants at all times. And two front desk coworkers who are probably witnessing the beginnings of a divorce. Let's jump into it, shall we? Story 1 is titled, Karens. They think they know everything. This guest booked third party, complained about every room we gave her, and then had the audacity to call me incompetent when I'm the assistant general manager of the hotel. I'm new to this, so don't judge. I am the assistant general manager of a hotel. Now, I see and hear my fair share, but this I just have to share with everyone here because I've read so many wonderful stories and just had to share mine. So this morning started out like most Saturday mornings. I come in, grab the notes off my office door, and start my day. As I'm grabbing my notes off my door, I see a note from my 3 to 11 p.m. agent stating that a certain room had to be moved due to a leak in the bathroom that was coming from the room above. Mind you, the room above was empty, so there was no one in it to cause the leak, just faulty plumbing, which we all know happens with hotel bathrooms. But I cringed, because the day before, my front desk manager and I had a whopper of a time with this lady. First being, she booked third party, stating on the reservation that she wanted a walk-in shower. So that's what my agent assigned her, a room with a walk-in shower. Well, not even 2.5 minutes goes by and here comes this lady off the elevator with her belongings stating, "That's not what I requested. I requested a walk-in shower." Both my front desk manager and I were standing at the front desk looking at each other dumbfounded because a walk-in shower is a walk-in shower. Now, we have 2 rooms with a stand-up corner shower, which is not the same as a walk-in shower. But this lady was insistent we gave her a handicap room. My front desk manager assured her that no, you were assigned a walk-in like you requested. Well, Karen didn't like that and demanded to be moved to the stand-up shower. So the move was made. Well, as stated, some plumbing was faulty and the bathroom above her started leaking and leaked down into her room, causing her to be moved to a room with a regular tub in the bathroom. Karen didn't like this at all and let both my 3 to 11 and 11 to 7 a.m. agents know that she was contacting corporate. So after I found out all the details, I contacted my GM to find out what we could offer her. Now, mind you, this particular Karen has 2 upcoming reservations with us, which were booked third party, which one of them she booked wrong, booking a handicap room with a walk-in shower like she had been requesting and acting like we magically changed her reservation when it came over. Like, lady, take a chill pill. You messed up your own reservation. So GM states, give her something off for the inconvenience and call her and let her know, which I call her and leave a message hoping this horrible woman does not call me back. Well, to the return call from her goes a little something like this. I want a refund for my third-party prepaid reservation because I'm too cheap to pay full price and book through the hotel. I'm a loyal customer, which, ma'am, you're not a member, so how loyal are you really? And my staff is incompetent at fixing and handling problems. And that I, as an assistant general manager, have no idea what the difference between a stand-up shower and a walk-in shower and a handicap accessible shower is, which, by the way, is a huge difference in the 3 of them. If you know, you know. I clapped back with what I feel was the best passive-aggressive comment I could think of. I told her that since I'm incompetent of doing my job, that I will most certainly give her her discount for inconvenience. And I'm going to do some research because clearly I don't know the difference, unlike her, between the different types of showers in hotels, and that she's completely right, and I told her that she could try, and by try, I mean she booked third party. We all know the hassle of canceling them, and I hope she finds a better place to stay as we will not be accommodating her with her upcoming stays. All the while, my GM is dying of laughter because let's face it, This woman was so wrong in so many ways, and to belittle people when all we did was accommodate her rude self. I just wish we had a place to go that we could complain about guests like that, like they get to complain about us, because I can't wait to read the review for this one. P.S. I will come back and let everyone know what she says in her review, so hang on tight. At the time of recording, I've checked the comments section of this post a few times, and the most I can say is this lady has canceled her upcoming stay with this hotel. So let us rejoice for this hotel staff not having to deal with this crazy lady. It's because of crazy guests like this that I can't get roll-in or walk-in showers when I travel. They only have 2 on property, and if you try to book online, you're probably not gonna get it. Thanks a lot, lady, for making it miserable for the rest of us. You know, when you go to a hotel, they tell you make yourself at home and they'll help you with anything you need. Well, this guy in Story 2 took it way too far. Story 2 is titled, "How Dare You Tell Me No 3 Times?" This past Friday night, I was working my audit shift. It was the first night of my work week, and I was hoping to have a smooth night to ease back into my week. After all, it's usually slow this time of year. I wasn't that lucky. I had a guest come in that night whose entitlement was almost unparalleled and resulted in a complaint to corporate that didn't go as planned. It started from the moment he checked in. Before even telling me his name, he began telling me that he was a super shiny elite member. I thanked him for his loyalty and start the check-in process. When I looked up his reservation, I noticed that he was staying on points. And when I confirmed that, he immediately asked to be upgraded from the standard room that a point stay gets you. As much as that annoys me, I understand it's corporate policy to give them an upgrade if we have it available. However, he decides to throw a wrench in the system. Instead of the upgrade to a 1-bedroom suite, which I have plenty of, he wants to be upgraded to one of our 2-bedroom suites. Like I said, the upgrade is supposed to be to the 1-bedroom suite, but there are times when my hotel might grant an upgrade to the 2-bedroom. Typically, it only happens when we get a manager's approval, and this is the most important part. We're slow enough that those rooms aren't needed. However, on this night, not only are those rooms needed, they've already been checked into. I inform him of that, and like clockwork, the entitled a-hole within him comes out. He tells me not to tell him that and give him a 2-bedroom suite. I repeat that those are unavailable since they've already been rented. He proceeds to remind me of his member level, and I remind him that his level won't change my inventory. He grabs the keys from my hand and storms off. I figure I'll only need to see him for a few seconds when he crosses the lobby when he gets back. And that does happen, except he's apparently made a trip to the grocery store and brought a lady friend with him. 30 minutes later, he's calling down asking for one of our waffle makers to be brought to him from the kitchen to his room. I refuse the request and he gets angry, demanding to know why. I let him know that the kitchen equipment is not to leave the kitchen or the dining area, and guests are not allowed to use the hotel's equipment in their rooms as it's a safety concern. He doesn't want to hear that and once again throws his membership level at me and says I don't want to be messing with him. He says he bought waffle batter and wants to make waffles. I again refuse the request and he throws another tantrum and hangs up. I thought I was done with him for the night. Boy, was I wrong. He walks up to the front desk about an hour later with his friend and they're dressed for a swim. Keep in mind, at this point, it's about 4 in the morning. Now he's asking that I open the pool. Once again, I tell him no, and before he can ask, I tell him that it's well past time when the pool closed, and it's November and like 55 degrees outside. He grows a weird shade of blotchy red and starts yelling that I have the worst customer service skills he's ever seen. That all I've done is tell him no when he's a super shiny elite member and he's always supposed to be told yes. Then he gets on the phone and begins calling the membership line. After screaming at them with his version of what's been going on and demanding that I be ordered to give in to his request, the desk phone starts ringing. The patronizing woman from the membership line wants to know why such a high-level member has been given such a difficult time. I relay to her what's really been happening and tell her that I've been logging everything that's been happening and will be relaying it to the GM. She gets a tone of voice that says she knows she's been lied to and been manipulated into trying to bully a hotel into breaking the rules for a guest. She apologizes and gets back on with the guest. Then he starts screaming that it doesn't matter what our rules are. He should be allowed to do what he wants. He throws me the finger and storms off, still yelling about the membership line rep and leaving his companion behind, who starts running after him. After reading my email and seeing the security footage of the guest's obscene gesture, the GM promptly added this member to the do not rent list. I smiled when I found out because I realized the guest actually got the treatment he deserved in the end. I guess these people don't ever plan on coming back after they act up like this. Hotel staff remember who you are when you're a good guest or when you're a crazy guest. I could tell you plenty of stories about things that I've witnessed in my time as a guest in a hotel. They remember the people they love, and they especially remember the people they hate. We've got one more story for you today, and this is only the second time we've done a story like this. A husband decided to be a bad boy, and he got caught in a hotel by his wife. This could be the storyline of a sitcom, maybe like an old Friends episode or something.
We were on a break!
Titled, Cheater Getting Caught. So my hotel has had this family in-house that's been multiple problems since they arrived. I haven't decided if they deserve their own post or not. However, the most recent problem was an argument between the husband and the wife that got me remembering an incident from a few years ago. It was the end of my shift. The AM shift had just come in a few minutes earlier. We had just finished the pass-alongs and I was getting ready to close out since I was going on my days off. All of a sudden, this woman comes in. She looks like she's in her 40s and looks pissed off. She asked for a key to her husband's room. The morning guy was on the phone, so I handled it. I asked her for her husband's room, and when I looked it up, I noticed two things. He's military, and that she isn't listed to get extra keys. Uh-oh. The first part is necessary to know because we have a contract with the military to house groups that are in town for training for months at a time. And when military personnel are on our property, they like to let loose and party in ways that they might not be able to on an on-base hotel. Apparently like this woman's husband, as we soon find out. I tell her I can't make her a key because he doesn't have anyone else listed. She says she's been here before and gotten keys before. In fact, she was there the previous weekend. My coworker, now off the phone, remembers her and confirms this, but adds that her husband was always with her and he always got the key. She says if he remembers her, then he can give her a key. He refuses because according to policy, we can't if she isn't listed, but offers to call the room, which I actually do. I tell the guest, who turns out to be a major in the army, that his wife is at the desk and she's asking for a key, and is it okay to give her one? In a panic, he says no, that he's coming down right now, and slams the phone down before I can say anything. I tell her what he told me, and she says, "I'll bet he is," with all the seething anger of an animal ready to tear apart a meal. Now, I'm looking at the camera monitor behind the desk, and sure enough, less than a minute later, out comes the major, who's practically dragging some little 20-year-old blonde behind them, who he then proceeds to shove out the doors that are by the elevators. And I don't mean he opened the doors and she walked out. I mean, he literally shoved her out of those doors like only a man afraid of losing half of his pension would do. He comes up to the desk and is out of breath, which is not a good look. Then he tries to sound happy and says, "Honey, you're here. I thought you were home." My coworker and I look at each other because that was not smooth at all. She looks at him coldly and says, "Upstairs, now." The look of fear on that man's face told me he'd rather be in a firefight than deal with her. We laugh after they were far enough away, but then I leave as it appears the show is over. I woke up later that day to a text from my coworker saying that they had to call the police because of the argument those two ended up having in the guest room. I obviously don't know what was said in that room, but the guest ended up checked out of my hotel and checked into the base hotel a few days later. The military does not play that kind of stuff, so I wonder what ended up happening to his pension and his career. So we had a know-it-all Karen who basically got herself kicked out of a hotel, a super shiny member who probably got himself banned for life, and a major who tried to pull something that is not a good look. How do you think you would handle those people if you had to stand behind that desk? Let me know in the comments. I sure hope you're enjoying the stories, but they don't have to end. We've got a whole playlist of entitled people. Crazy neighbors, people who steal wheelchairs, people who are stealing food out of people's carts. We even have one where the police were trying to help somebody steal a car by accident. You can get a plate full of entitled people just by clicking the thumbnail on your screen. Come on, I'll see you over there.